The person you love opened up to their friends about their true feelings for you for the first time. My beloved child. Before this moment, the person you love carried a secret so deep that even silence felt safer than speaking it aloud. But today, something changed forever. For the very first time, they gathered the courage to open their heart in front of their closest friends, and the room became completely still. Every eye turned toward them as they whispered words they had hidden for far too long. No one expected your name to be the center of that conversation. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. What happened next was so unexpected that even they couldn't believe they had finally revealed what had been locked inside their heart for so long. A quiet voice broke the silence and asked them one simple question: if your feelings are real, why haven't you told them? That question reached deeper than anyone realized. They paused, looked down, and admitted they had replayed hundreds of imaginary conversations with you, yet fear always stopped them before the first word could leave their lips. Their friends exchanged surprised glances because they had never seen them this vulnerable before. One friend smiled gently and said, "When someone stays in your heart this long, it's never an accident." Those words changed the atmosphere completely, and suddenly the conversation became far more emotional than anyone expected. Just when it seemed everything had already been revealed, another friend quietly mentioned something that made your loved one's heartbeat race. It wasn't a rumor, it wasn't a coincidence, it was a detail connected to you that they had never heard before. The moment those words reached their ears, they froze, unable to respond, because they realized something they had overlooked for a very long time. That single realization could change everything between you both. Don't skip, because what they decided after hearing that truth will surprise you more than anything you've imagined. A few moments later, the conversation became even more serious. One friend leaned forward and quietly asked, if you had one chance to tell them everything today, would you finally do it? The person you love closed their eyes for a second, took a deep breath, and answered in a voice filled with emotion, "Yes, because pretending I don't care has become harder than admitting the truth." The room fell silent once again. No one laughed. No one interrupted. They all realized these feelings had been growing much deeper than anyone had imagined. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then another friend shared something completely unexpected. They admitted they had noticed a small change every time your name came up. A different smile, a calmer voice, a look that couldn't be hidden. Your loved one couldn't deny it anymore. They finally confessed that even the smallest memory connected to you had the power to brighten an ordinary day. Hearing those words, every friend understood this wasn't just admiration. It was something much stronger, something that had quietly taken over their heart. But just when they believed the hardest part was over, one final question changed everything. A friend looked directly at them and asked, "What if they're waiting for you too?" Those words echoed in complete silence. Your loved one didn't answer immediately, because for the first time, they allowed themselves to imagine that possibility. That single thought stayed with them long after the conversation ended, and the decision they made afterward is something you would never expect. Don't skip, because what happened after they walked away from their friends will reveal a truth no one saw coming. As the conversation ended, Everyone began walking away, but the person you loved didn't move. They stayed behind, staring at the ground as if their heart was still searching for the right answer. One sentence from their friends kept repeating in their mind, "Some opportunities don't wait forever." Those words felt impossible to ignore. For the first time, they realized that staying silent might hurt far more than speaking honestly. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then something completely unexpected happened. They reached into their pocket, looked at something that reminded them of you, and smiled without even realizing it. A friend who had quietly stayed behind noticed the smile and softly said, "I've never seen you look at anyone the way you look at them." They didn't deny it. Instead, they admitted that no matter how busy life became, thoughts of you always found a way back into their heart. At that very moment, they made a promise to themselves, a promise they had never been brave enough to make before. But the biggest surprise was still waiting. Just as they were about to leave, they remembered one small detail about you that suddenly changed everything. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it gave them a new kind of hope they hadn't felt in a long time. That hope became the reason they decided their next step would be different from every step they had taken before. Don't skip, because the choice they make next could become the turning point that changes this entire story forever. A new morning arrived, but the person you love couldn't stop thinking about everything that had been said. Every word from their friends echoed louder than before, pushing them toward a decision they had delayed for far too long. They looked out into the distance and quietly whispered, "If I keep waiting, I may lose the chance I've been hoping for." In that moment, fear slowly gave way to courage. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The next step they were about to take wasn't rushed, it came from a heart that had finally stopped hiding. Then an unexpected message reached one of their closest friends. It wasn't from you, yet somehow it was connected to you in a way no one could explain. The friend smiled and simply said, "This can't be a coincidence." Those few words made your loved one's heart race again. They began to believe that every delay, every unanswered question, and every silent moment had been leading toward something far greater than they had imagined. For the first time, hope felt stronger than doubt. Just when they were ready to leave everything to fate, they made one final promise to themselves: they would no longer let fear decide their future. But before taking that step, they discovered one last detail that completely changed the direction of their thoughts. It was so unexpected that even they stood frozen, wondering if this was the sign they had been waiting for all along. Don't skip, because what they uncover next will reveal the most surprising chapter of this story yet. A quiet evening settled in, and the person you love finally understood why their heart had refused to let go. Every path they had taken somehow led back to thoughts of you. The more they tried to convince themselves to move on, the stronger those feelings became. One of their friends noticed the change and softly asked, "Are you finally ready to stop hiding from what your heart has been saying all along?" They smiled for the first time without hesitation and answered, "I think I am." Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Just then, another friend shared a memory that no one else had paid attention to before. It was a small moment involving you. Something that seemed ordinary at the time but now carried an entirely different meaning. The person you love stood speechless as every missing piece suddenly began fitting together. They realized their feelings hadn't appeared overnight. They had been growing quietly through every conversation, every smile, and every unforgettable moment connected to you. The truth was becoming impossible to ignore. But as they prepared to follow their heart, one final surprise appeared. Someone quietly revealed a piece of information that made them stop in their tracks. Their expression changed instantly, not because they were afraid, but because they realized the story between you was far from over. What they decided in the very next moment could become the beginning of everything they had been hoping for. Don't skip, because the next revelation will uncover the reason destiny kept bringing your paths together. A restless night followed, yet the person you love couldn't find peace. Every conversation with their friends replayed in their mind, but one sentence refused to fade: some connections keep returning because they were never meant to be forgotten. Those words settled deep in their heart. They realized they had spent too much time waiting for the perfect moment, while the right moment had been quietly standing in front of them all along. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As the sun began to rise, they made a choice that surprised even themselves. Instead of listening to fear, they decided to trust what their heart had been trying to tell them for so long. One friend noticed the determination in their eyes and smiled, saying, "That's the look of someone who's finally ready to stop running." They nodded gently, knowing there was no turning back now. The truth they had hidden for so long was becoming stronger than every excuse they had ever made. But just when everything seemed clear, an unexpected detail surfaced, something they had completely overlooked. It was a small clue connected to you, yet it carried a meaning so powerful that it changed their entire perspective in an instant. They stood completely still, realizing this wasn't the end of the story, it was only the beginning of the biggest revelation yet. Don't skip. Because what they discover next will leave even their closest friends speechless. For a long time, the person you love believed they were the only one carrying these emotions. But that belief shattered when one of their closest friends quietly revealed something they had noticed months ago. "Every time your future comes up," the friend said, "your thoughts always return to the same person." Those words hit them harder than expected. They realized their heart had been telling the truth long before they were willing to admit it. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. A deep silence filled the room. No one spoke for several seconds because everyone could see the change in their eyes. Then your loved one finally whispered, "I've been waiting for the perfect sign, but maybe the sign was every moment I couldn't stop thinking about them." Their friends smiled, not because they were surprised, but because they had already seen this truth long before it was spoken aloud. At that very moment, hesitation began to disappear, replaced by a quiet confidence they had never felt before. Just as they were preparing to leave, one friend stopped them with a sentence that changed everything: "Before you take your next step, there's something you still don't know." Your loved one turned around immediately, their heart racing with questions. The expression on that friend's face revealed that this wasn't ordinary news, it was the missing piece that could explain every strange coincidence and every unanswered feeling. Don't skip, because the next truth is the one they've been searching for all this time. The person you love slowly turned back, unable to ignore the seriousness in their friend's voice. Everyone else had already fallen silent. Then the friend said, "There was one thing you never noticed. Every time someone asked about your future, you never described a place or a dream. You described a person." Those words lingered in the air. Your loved one stood completely still, realizing that every plan they had imagined somehow included you, even when they never said your name aloud. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. A gentle smile appeared on their face, but it quickly faded when another friend revealed something even more surprising. "You think you've hidden your feelings well," they said, "but everyone here figured it out long ago." The room filled with quiet laughter, not to embarrass them, but because the truth had been obvious to everyone except the one carrying it. In that moment, they stopped pretending. They admitted that no matter how much time passed, their heart always returned to the same thought, you. Just as they were about to leave for the final time, a phone notification appeared. It wasn't the message itself that caught their attention, it was what it reminded them of. Suddenly, every conversation, every memory, and every unanswered question connected like pieces of a puzzle. They looked up with a determination no one had seen before and quietly said, "Now I know what I have to do." Don't skip, because the next step they take will reveal the moment that changes this entire story forever. The moment they walked away, everything around them felt different. It wasn't because the world had changed, it was because their heart finally had a direction. They replayed every word their friends had spoken, and one thought became impossible to ignore. Some people enter your life for a reason, but only a few remain in your heart forever. They whispered your name under their breath, and for the first time, it didn't bring uncertainty, it brought peace. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As they continued walking, they unexpectedly crossed paths with someone who knew both of you. That person smiled and casually mentioned something about you that they had never heard before. It wasn't dramatic, yet it answered a question they had secretly carried for a long time. Suddenly, every doubt that had been holding them back began to disappear. They realized they had been looking at the situation through fear instead of hope, and that realization changed everything. But just when they believed they had finally understood the truth, one final discovery stopped them in their tracks. They found something that reminded them of a promise they had once made to themselves, a promise they had almost forgotten. Looking at it, they quietly smiled and said, "This can't be a coincidence anymore." At that very moment, they made a decision they could no longer delay. Don't skip, because the next moment will reveal the choice that could change both of your stories forever. The decision had finally been made. There was no more hesitation, no more second guessing. The person you love looked at the sky for a long moment and quietly said, "I've stayed silent for too long. If I don't follow my heart now, I'll always wonder what could have been." Those words weren't spoken out of impulse, they came from a place of complete honesty. In that moment, fear lost its hold, and hope became stronger than ever before. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As they prepared for what came next, one of their closest friends called out to them one last time. "Remember," they said, the strongest connections aren't built on perfect timing. They're built on genuine feelings. Your loved one paused, smiled, and nodded. They realized they had spent so much time searching for certainty that they almost missed the opportunity standing right in front of them. Every conversation, every memory, and every emotion had led them to this exact moment. But just when they thought nothing else could surprise them, an unexpected detail came back to mind, a tiny moment from the past that suddenly made perfect sense. It wasn't random. It wasn't forgotten. It felt like the missing piece they had been searching for all along. Their heartbeat quickened as they whispered, "Now I finally understand." What they chose to do immediately after that realization is something no one around them expected. Don't skip, because the next chapter reveals the step that changes everything forever. A quiet confidence filled their heart as they stood alone, remembering every moment that had brought them here. For the first time, they stopped asking, "What if it doesn't work?" and started asking, "What if this is exactly what I've been waiting for?" That single change transformed everything inside them. The fear that had once controlled every decision slowly faded away, replaced by a calm determination that even they had never experienced before. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then something happened that no one could have predicted. One of their friends called unexpectedly and said, "There's one thing I forgot to tell you yesterday." Those words instantly caught their attention. The friend explained that after everyone had left, the conversation about you had continued. Every single person agreed on one surprising truth: they had never seen someone speak about another person with so much sincerity and quiet hope. Hearing that left your loved one speechless. They realized their feelings were no longer a secret hidden in silence, they had become a truth everyone could see. As they ended the call, they looked ahead with a smile that carried both excitement and peace. But just before taking the next step, they noticed one final sign that seemed impossible to ignore. It reminded them that some moments arrive only once, and this was one of them. They took a slow breath and whispered, "I'm ready. Don't skip." Because the final chapter reveals the surprising moment that completes this unforgettable story. Everything had led to this moment. The person you love stood still for a few seconds, not because they were uncertain anymore, but because they wanted to remember the journey that had brought them here. Every hidden feeling, every late-night thought, every conversation with their friends had quietly prepared them for this day. They smiled and softly said, "I finally understand why my heart never let go." In that instant, peace replaced every unanswered question. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As they took their next step, they realized the greatest surprise wasn't something their friends had revealed, it was the truth they had finally admitted to themselves. They no longer needed anyone else to confirm what their heart had known all along. Their closest friends had simply given them the courage to believe it. One of them had said, "The strongest feelings don't disappear with time, they become clearer." Those words stayed with them, becoming the reason they chose hope instead of hesitation. Before the day came to an end, they looked toward the future with quiet confidence and whispered, "Whatever happens next, I won't hide my heart anymore." And with that promise, a brand new chapter quietly began. The story wasn't ending. It was only opening the door to what comes next. Don't skip, because the final part will reveal the one message they've been waiting to share with you from the very beginning. At last, the person you love understood the real reason that opening up to their friends had changed everything. It wasn't because they received all the answers they were searching for, it was because they finally stopped hiding from the truth inside their own heart. They realized that every memory connected to you had quietly shaped the person they had become. Looking ahead with a peaceful smile, they whispered, "No matter where life leads, this feeling is one I'll never deny again." Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The friends who had listened so carefully didn't give them a perfect plan. Instead, they gave them something even more valuable: confidence. They reminded them that genuine feelings become stronger when they are accepted instead of hidden. As they walked away, they carried no fear, no regret,